This episode of How Was Your Run Today is being sponsored by
Newmark Grubb Knight Frank. Newmark Grubb Knight Frank is one of the world's leading commercial real estate brokerage and advisory firms. Whether your business is a small tech or service firm looking to grow into professional space, or an established multi-city business with operations everywhere, NGFK can help you navigate the market and empower you to make optimal real estate decisions for your company. Executive Managing Director David Martell and his team have advised firms of all sizes on their leases, from 400,000 square feet to as little as 1,500 square feet, and they've sold some of Boston's most iconic properties, such as the Hancock Tower, Converse headquarters, and 699 Boylston Street, which sits right at the finish line of the Boston Marathon.
Hey, Peter, I've run past that building.
Yeah, the one time you did, Brian. The one time.
For more information about Newmark Grubb Knight Frank, call 617-863-8525. Again, Peter, that's 617-863-8525. Or visit ngkf.com.
Newmark Grubb Knight Frank. Global presence, local expertise.
Hey, Peter.
Brian, this is episode 40 and it's going to be very special and different. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of all that,
Yes, sir.
can you step inside the medical tent with me?
I need a run.
10 cc's of running stat. Okay, so I did go to a specialist, thank you.
Okay, what sort of specialist?
A foot and ankle specialist.
Oh, that's appropriate for an Achilles problem. Yes, good.
Although I'm not a medical doctor, I was correct.
Actually, legally, I have to say neither am I.
I was correct in assuming that it was Achilles tendonitis, and it is on my left ankle.
Well, at least you have a name for it.
And then while I was there, 2-for-1 special, I checked.
They looked at both.
Well, I had been having some issues with my right one in the last week or two or three, and that is called post-tib tendonitis in the right, most likely brought on because I'm favoring my right leg over my left. Yeah. So the doctor was excellent, and when he was examining me, I immediately apologized for my midnight blue toes. And he did not care one wink at all.
I'm sure
about
it's not
that.
the strangest thing he's ever seen on someone's foot.
Probably not. So here's what he did. He gave me the full exam, and then he said, okay, here's what we're going to get you on, an anti-inflammatory
Right.
for 14 days. And then you're going to go and you're going to buy stabilizing inserts to your shoes, because the source of my problem, and this may ring true for many people who are listening, is I'm overpronating, right?
The inward roll of the ankle.
Yep. So I need a bigger
Stabilizer.
arch support and stabilizer.
Right.
So
As we grow, many of our arches fall.
and
I can attest.
I can tell you, having had those now in my shoes for about 4 days, it's making a tremendous difference, as is the anti-inflammatory. I honestly feel like right now I
Yes.
could go for a good 5 miles.
And that is the danger, right, sir?
Well, here's the story. He really said very seriously, hey, you can't run for 4 weeks. You can't do anything that's full body weight for 4 weeks. So he suggested the gym, weight training,
Bicycle.
swimming. So there's other things I can do. It puts me in a precarious position a little bit.
For the New York City Marathon.
Yeah, but we'll see. I do a follow-up with him first week of September. We'll see how I'm doing.
I think you're going to be good. And the reason I say that is because if the inserts and the anti-inflammatory had such a marked effect so quickly,
Yes.
I think all signs point to a quick recovery.
I agree with that, and I think it's, as you know, 60 to 90% mental.
Well, I think your mental is what kept you from going to the doctor a month ago.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest. Hey, I'll tell you this too, and we were speaking of this earlier. I think maybe the footwear during your walking commute to work was probably causing as much problem or all the problem
most likely
as running.
It was most likely the walking more than the running. That's right, and that's probably where the majority of my overpronation was happening. Sure. So I've learned a lot, and
Good footwear, folks.
It's really everything that matters is good footwear. And when you feel that you have a problem, just go seek medical attention. Do not be a stupid male like me.
Treat all injuries like they're real injuries.
Oh, that's a good one. Now, we got to cut right to the chase because this is a Jimmy Jam-packed episode.
Peter, you said something earlier. This is our 40th episode.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to us. Oh. It's not really a birthday.
No.
Celebratory.
It's a
Do you know what
celebratory
is so
time.
exciting about this week's episode?
I don't.
Before we began this adventure called How Was Your Run Today,
Yes.
we had run the Boston Marathon.
The one time.
We had we were completionists of the Boston Marathon.
That's right.
We were pretty regular runners.
You were okay.
We had heard of something called November Project.
Oh, in the wind.
In
out
the wind.
there. We knew of something going on.
And, we really didn't participate. We didn't know much about it. I read an article in Runner's World. That was about it. We interviewed Caleb Daniloff, who is a sort of a neighbor of yours, if you will, who had written a book about them with the two founders, Brogan and Bojan. We had him in. He's a ton of fun, on mic and off.
Yeah.
And he encouraged us to go try it out.
Well, more than encouraged. Actually, he explained to us what verbling was, and then each one of us had to go and prove our mettle, which we've both done. And you more so than me, but yes.
And this week, folks, we have an interview with the founders of November Project, Brogan Graham and Bojan Mandaric, and two of the leaders of the Boston tribe, Emily Saul and Chris Capozzi.
And
Yes, sir.
a little pick-me-up hello with Caleb Daniloff again.
That's what I was getting to. Thank you for stealing my thunder.
Absolutely. It's like a best of. It's like a best of November Project.
So if you have any interest in November Project, if you've heard of it, if you've done one of their workouts in any of the 29 cities where they are,
Crazy.
you're really going to like this. And we did it live after the Wednesday Harvard Stadiums at Harvard Stadium.
We're going to put a bunch of pictures actually in the timeline of this show. So if you want to go right to SoundCloud to play it,
Right.
You can see sort of a visual walkthrough as we're going through, because it is...
And I'm sure we'll release them in Facebook and
put 'em
social
everywhere.
media and stuff, because the visuals will really help. Here's one thing I have to say, Peter. I'm a man over 6 feet tall, weigh about 180 pounds.
You look good.
When I go to a concert or something like that and I stand up and I look at the stage, I usually have no problem seeing over other people.
You're of height.
Okay. I think you snapped a photo of me while we're speaking with Brogan and Bojan,
And I tried to help you out.
and it looks like they're standing at the top of a very steep ramp, and I'm standing at the bottom of a very steep ramp
On your knees.
on my knees. And yet, no, we were both just standing there, and they are so much more tall, handsome, muscular,
Vivacious.
funny, and just all around more spectacular
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And
than your humble host.
and it's very rare to get both of them together nowadays, because they are living in separate parts of the country.
Right, one lives in the Boston area, one lives in San Diego area.
So, folks, strap in. This is going to be you're the fly on the wall in the back of the Harvard Coliseum after a big workout, and you get to see.
All right, well, we're starting with Caleb,
Oh, I know.
and then I think
know.
we're going to come back after that and just do a quick how you doing before we play the other one. You want to do it that way?
Let's go give it a go. Let's go now. Travel back in time to our quick catch up with Caleb Daniloff.
Wait, this isn't the bowels?
This is
I mean, you can get
this
you
is
can
the
get
upper
in.
intestine.
What's that?
This is the upper intestine.
All right. Hey, Caleb, how are you? How is your double stadiums today?
It was tough, actually, but the second half was easier than the first, which was amazing.
Did you put less pressure on yourself, or
I
is
think
just
that was it. And I
Yeah.
stopped and talked to people, but I was like running. I was running the whole time. The first half sucked. It was super humid, hellish.
no sun though yet?
No, but
no,
it's
but
thick.
it's
It's thick.
It is
very
thick.
thick. You can taste it.
Yeah. Tell us.
I could taste you, Brian.
No, I was chasing you, so I got your sweat in my face.
How goes the book tour?
The book tour goes.
Excellent.
We're just pushing it when we can, and I think the tribe has gotten more attention. There more stories have been told. And,
Yep.
Today's show, how was that? You guys were
Good
on the
Morning
Today
America.
Show, or Good Morning America,
that
rather.
that was fun. That was fun. It was definitely some national exposure. As we were talking afterwards, it didn't quite because it was sort of a staged
Yeah.
workout.
Yeah.
So it didn't quite capture the full vibe. Like you guys being here today is perfect.
Right.
So
It was
great.
You know exactly what it's like, and you can sort of impart the color and that sort of thing. So
What is on tap for you in terms of races?
So September 10th, I'm running the perimeter of Manhattan with some friends, which is 32 miles.
Excellent.
Is that an official race or just for fun?
It's a fun run, or a hell run. A lot of concrete awaiting me.
Time limit or no time limit?
No time limit.
Okay.
A friend of mine from the Heron Project, Pam Rickard, is running it, and a couple November Project people from New York City are running it.
Wow.
So we're doing that, and that's sort of as part of training for a 50-miler I signed up for.
And where's that one going to be?
That's Stonecat in Ipswich in November.
Excellent.
So I don't know.
That'll be a great one.
A little scary.
November.
Deep November or early November?
It's going to be my November project, right?
That's right.
It really is.
It is early November.
Okay.
So November 5th. Four 12-mile loops.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
My.
that fourth one's going to be tough to say yes to.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
I know. I'm in denial still. I'm in
Right,
denial.
right.
I figure I'd just do double stadiums until then and hope for the best.
Wow. What's the longest that you're doing training runs right now?
I'll probably do like back-to-backs. I'll do maybe 20 on a Saturday and then maybe 15 on a Sunday. Do a couple of those.
That's a lot of miles.
But I'm not doing a 40-mile training run or
Right.
anything like.
How do you feel on the day off?
Okay, actually, I just I just switched my diet to vegetarian with the thought of going vegan. And so I feel like it has impacted my recovery.
Yep.
Like I'm not brutally sore the next day. I mean, I'm still a little sore, but I feel like I can go.
Where are you getting your protein?
Muscle milk.
Yeah.
And you're publishing stories about this, right?
Yeah, I'm doing
Where can we
actually a
find
blog
those?
on Runner's World for it.
Awesome.
So almonds.
Are you allowing yourself eggs?
I am allowing myself eggs.
Okay.
Lots of avocado.
Yep.
I'm doing a lot of a lot of soy.
Yep.
A lot of meat substitutes.
Yep.
It's slowly but surely.
Yep.
But it's been interesting so far.
Do you see yourself going vegan at the end of it or not yet?
I'm going to try it. I'm going
Really?
to try it and see.
Post-race.
Post-race. I mean, I used to be a very big meat eater, and after when I quit, when I went vegetarian, I went into a huge slump. I was sure it was like I was detoxing, going through withdrawal.
And you just felt bad?
I felt fatigued. I lost like a minute on my average pace.
You didn't have the reserves, the energy,
no,
ready
and
energy.
Then it took about, I'd say, 4 or 5 weeks before I came around, and now I'm running faster. I have more energy. What about you guys? What do you have on tap?
I'm actually going to do heart rate monitor training.
Oh, wow.
So I've been talking to people about that, so I'm going to try that out
I'm
for
scared
this.
to go into that territory.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
really,
obsessed with those numbers.
Well, that's why I avoided it, because you can get over data, right? You can get too much information, but really the point is slow down at the beginning so you can speed up over time.
Right.
And I think really what everyone has said is that it forces you really to slow down, so you do those long miles very slow and strengthen your engine. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, cool.
I need to do it. I don't want to get injured again. And Peter's
You're doing New
dealing
York,
with something
right?
serious.
I'm trying to do New York. I just came from the doctor yesterday, a specialist. I have Achilles tendonitis in this one. I have post-tib tendonitis in the right. So I'm a little depressed right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's on the edge of just enough time if I really can get back.
Yeah. I've had that happen. I was training for Chicago, and I had a lower back issue and set me back like 4 weeks. And you just do what you can on race day.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's a mental thing too.
It's hard because when we started this podcast, I found I had a hip issue and I couldn't run for 3 weeks, and then I went on for 2 and off for another 3. It was like 6 months of just. Now it's such a distant memory, though. I'm like, I feel good. I'm actually excited to start training, whereas that was just this. I realized, the 3 months prior to actually going to the doctor and getting an X-ray, I was just grinding myself into like more pain, denial. It was bad. Injuries are really hard.
2 weeks late going to the doctor.
Yeah.
I really should have gone.
Yeah.
And I was just scared. I was scared of what I would hear.
At our slightly advanced age, it takes a little longer to recover.
And you don't want to hear those horrible words like, you have something, you need to stop running.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
That's
but
the
I should
worst.
have just embraced it. And so if anybody can hear this and say, "Oh, I have a nagging thing," you go to the doctor. Just do it. Just do it. That's why we have healthcare.
Caleb, if you have one thing to say to our listeners, what is it?
F yeah.
Thank you for keeping it clean.
Self-censored on that one. for you
Self-censored.
guys.
We appreciate that. We don't have to beep you again. That's great.
Well, you're gonna have to do some serious bleeping with the guys.
That's all right. We can
See if
warn
you can
everybody.
Get Brogan to come out of his shell a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, they both seem so timid.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. You got to draw them out
Yeah, that's right.
gently and safely. But anyways, great seeing you guys.
All right,
Great
good
to see you.
And I'll see you next time.
We'll do
All right.
more. We'll do
All
more.
right.
Thank you.
Cheers, brothers.
Good. Awesome. Thank you. That was fun.
Huge thank you to Caleb Daniloff because he showed up, he made that happen, and if I'm not mistaken, it is very hard to get the two organizers of November Project in the same space now, right?
Brogan lives in San Diego.
See?
Boyan still lives in the Boston area. They live literally on opposite sides of the country and are flying around all over the place. So to get them both at 7:30 a.m. on a Wednesday in the bowels of Harvard Stadium next to an abandoned Dippin' Dots pushcart.
Crazy. I honestly thought we'd get a 5-minute, hey, hope you like how you're on today, listen to us, blah, 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 tag. And what we ended up getting, what people are about to hear, is a good 30, 40 minutes of them sticking it out and talking with us about a million things. And their energy is endless, and their openness is
Their
complete.
energy is as enormous as their imposing physical bodies.
I couldn't stop looking at their forearms.
You certainly couldn't see the top of their heads.
No, it's cloudy up there like Mount Washington.
And huge also thanks to Emily, Saul, and Chris Capozzi, two of the leaders of the Boston Tribe, who were just sort of helping us get to the right place. And we invited them over, and they came and stayed, and that's actually how the interview starts.
They were great.
So those guys get a mic. You'll hear we start off, I think Boyan has the mic first. We didn't give a microphone to Brogan to start off with, and you'll see why, because he takes over. In a good way.
In a good way, but yeah.
But for everybody else to get heard.
Yeah, no, it proved to be strategic. It was good.
So much thanks. I hope we get to do it again sometime. Oh, one other thing, Peter.
Oh, yeah.
When we arrived, and Caleb was introducing us because he was the glue that made this whole thing happen. We were so excited about it. Brogan gives us both a big November Project hug.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You're a little dry."
Yeah.
Feeling the back of our shirts.
And that's because you had yet to do the workout, and you went to go, and you did a full 30 sections, I think.
I did the 30 for the Frogman workout.
And
that is.
I remained very dry because of my injuries, so I did not perform. And there was that quick moment there during the hug where I think he was assessing whether or not he was going to give us any time for an interview based on participation.
Are these guys the real deal or not? But it wound up all ice melted. These guys are full of goodness, kindness, open hearts. Even if it sounds a little bro-y in there during the interview, it's not at all.
Sounds more Brogan-y than bro-y.
Well, that's true. Hey, let's dive in.
All right.
All right, so our audience knows a little bit about November Project. We interviewed Caleb a couple of months ago. I've come and done a bunch of Wednesdays, so we've talked about it.
What's your stadium record? How many sections?
It was.
Why
it's 38.
interrupting?
38
The guy
is
was
your stadium
talking.
record.
Stop
For the time,
interrupting,
yeah.
Emily,
Okay.
Saul.
Yeah.
I did
Jeez.
Summit Ave in Brookline.
Beautiful.
That's a hill. That's a
It's
real
it's
hill.
a strong
I
hill.
love that hill.
Thanks for coming.
I love driving right by it. Thank you for
All right.
having me.
So I have a question. We know what the workouts are. What's the rest of your lives like? What do you do when it's not at 7:30 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday?
We have jobs. I work for the Life is Good Kids Foundation. It's a
Okay.
nonprofit organization.
Yep.
So I usually change my clothes real quick and go
Okay.
show up. And
Are you a playmaker?
I am a playmaker.
Awesome.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the
Yeah.
Kids Foundation? Awesome.
Fantastic, great. Where are you traveling around?
I
to
do a
different-
good amount of traveling. So we provide personal and professional development, and so working with organizations in New York and Minnesota and all around Boston and New England. So I'm pretty busy with that.
Awesome.
That's
And
great.
so you have to work out at 5:30.
Because
that's the only time you can do it.
I do. I'll tell you what, though. We've started a trend in the Life is Good office of random push-ups throughout the day. So on the 9th floor
Yeah.
of 51 Melcher Street,
Yeah.
you can get anywhere from 2 to 12 people doing sets of push-ups 5 or 6 times during the day.
Do you have like a bullhorn or something?
No, we it's just a look. Everyone kind of feels the vibe, and we look over at each other, and we just all get up and we meet in the push-up spot. We
just
make
know.
We make
You
a
just
ring.
know. Yeah.
We stare down,
Yeah.
and we drop to the ground.
I
That's
can
how it
believe it
goes.
because I feel like you're telling me to do push-ups right now. Just that look. I'm
Shall
like,
we?
oh my God.
Shall we?
We'll end the interview with one really good push-up.
Okay.
Perfect.
We have a very similar thing in our office
Yeah.
that's about burritos.
Oh,
we
cool.
just
Yep,
look
that's
at
right,
each other.
burrito time.
Yeah.
And we know
you
it's
just
burrito.
know that it's time for
It's burrito,
burritos.
yeah.
Yeah.
BG wants to say something.
No,
He wants a burrito.
BG always wants to say something, and that's why I'm holding the mic.
I have a quick question for you guys. Have you guys
I like not having.
Sorry, BG.
have you considered have you guys considered a brunch project or a sunset project? And I just mean that from a scheduling perspective. 'cause
Absolutely considered, and we'll never do it.
So it's always a morning thing.
Yes. You know why?
I'd love it to know.
Because no one is doing anything in the morning.
So get them going.
That's right.
Okay, so you're tapping availability. Okay.
It's also
It-
the best way to start your day.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because
You kind
you
of
can
feel
always
invincible.
find an excuse. You know what? I have this project that I have to do during the lunch.
I'm really
Or-
a night person.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
At 6:30 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning. Like even teachers, they have to be in school at 7. Like
Yeah.
just wake up 30 minutes before, right? You know, and go do something, and you should be all set.
All right.
I want to talk about something. This is actually a great interview setup. I was just talking to Capozzi here, Chris Capozzi, the leader of the Boston movement. He and I have no microphones, so we have to get permission from our mom and dad.
Which is probably the best plan of
Totally.
action,
Muzzling
right?
technique.
So
So I'm
good.
good.
And there's no chairs. Do you like how there's no chairs?
See anything.
Chris, what do you do when you're not at November Project?
I probably shouldn't tell you guys because I don't actually do a lot outside of November Project, but I am an architect technically.
Okay.
But my day consists pretty much of November Project. Social media, hyping,
so
talking.
you're responsible for
Jumping around.
the witty and supportive social
I'm not
media
witty at
posts?
all. I'm not funny. No.
I think
She's
they're
the funny
witty.
one. She's like the voice of everything. I take photos and make people look better than myself. So I'm really good at like making other people like look really good and then me look shitty. So or bad.
That's going to be a bleep.
That's a bleep.
Yeah.
That's a
Make-
bleep.
Like bleep.
Bad, or are you the benchmark for looking good?
Okay.
I'm the benchmark for looking bad.
How many photos you just take during this run?
Anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000.
And how many hours will
Wait,
it take
what?
you?
It's like 150.
Yeah, I know, but
200.
how many
Yeah.
how many hours will it take you to sort through that and get them out to where you want to get them?
It depends. So anywhere from like an hour to 2.5, 3 hours,
Yeah.
depending on like the day and like other interruptions and stuff like that. And then we coordinate. We write a blog as well.
Yep.
We do social media, so we'll get one out for social media, Instagram, stuff
And you
like
do
that.
it
I feel
day
like
of.
I'm just like ready to put this in my mouth. This mic.
Yeah, it goes right up
It
in
goes
it.
right in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
I just
really
want to point out that he said
Yeah.
other
Oh.
interruptions of like a
job that
Right.
doesn't
that pays the
happen.
bills.
Does he have
Right.
it?
He's
I guess.
interrupting with his hobby,
Right.
That's right.
which is
Well, we're very familiar
Talking
with
about
that notion.
commitment.
We're
Yeah,
very familiar.
we're familiar with how a
Yeah.
podcast can interrupt
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
Yeah.
responsibilities.
But you could
mean
see how lucrative
responsibilities
this
and interrupting
podcast
your
is
podcast.
because
That's
of
what
our
I mean.
elaborate setup here.
Yeah. And then you just get like the stuff that you don't expect every day. People reaching out to you, asking
Yes.
questions, things like that.
Yeah.
And there's recruiting. So there's like a
Yeah.
ton of things that are involved in.
Chris, do you ever
That's it.
have somebody say, "Hey, I've been coming to NP for like 3 months and I never get a photo up on Facebook.
Yeah.
What's the deal? How
It's
how
tough.
short do my shorts have to be?"
Sometimes people just, I think it's the photographer's fault. I think it's my fault. I'm just going to put the blame on me. Everyone looks good in all the photos, and I just look. So we've got this new thing we're doing, and I think it's a great tactic for me especially. So we put tape on the shoulders of all newbies. So if it's your first day, we put tape on.
So it's easy for you
That
to
way,
see.
so I can spot them, take photos
Right.
of them, tell them about,
Yep.
look at the album later on,
Yep.
tag themselves, and that's a good way for us to connect with them. It's also a good way. Some days we have 50 newbies.
Right.
And it's almost impossible for us to know who's new and and we know that they have a great experience. So now we, the leaders, and also everyone else in the tribe can spot those people out, find their names, give them a hug, show them what we're all about.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And what's the biggest NP in Boston? The biggest day, the biggest event? How
Wednesdays
many
for
people have you
sure.
had? What was the record, do you think?
Yeah, you just saw it. The record was 2014 in November when we had over 1,500 people.
Oh my.
1,500?
1,500 people.
Oh my.
And that actually also happened to be first workout that BG and I were not leading. So,
Yeah.
Well, that
the
tells you something.
The week before that, I know, right?
Okay,
I got really good when we quit.
We
BG and I, the week before, decided to pass on the reins to the new leadership, and the following workout, the attendance doubled. So it just tells you how awesome we are not.
Arnott was there. Arnott was actually in the building.
there was a really strong recruiting push prior to that. And I think BG actually paid people to show up that day. Yeah. It was not only free, you actually earned money.
Yeah, see, I think, first of all, Emily, that's true. I thought that was kind of going to be a secret,
Sorry.
but I guess that's exposed now. I will say, though, that, when I asked people that day why they showed up, because we did have a big jump that day. We'd gone from about an average, like 600, 800 people to 1,500 people that day. A lot of them were saying they just came there to check out Emily Saul's body, which I thought was pretty, intense just to come right out and say that.
Yeah.
I actually can't look over
But it
this way.
felt right. I
Do you see what I have to do?
I'm actually going to hide
Maintain
behind the
eye
ice cream.
contact.
We're
See
gonna.
out of this
I'm
eye
gonna
now.
stand.
I'm going
in
to grab a
between-
Dippin' Dots and get out of here.
Emily Saul named her biceps.
What are they?
Steve.
Well, once upon a time, I wanted to be an American Gladiator. If you recall the
yeah.
resurgence of the TV show.
Oh, yeah.
And so I applied. I made a video.
Yeah.
To be on American Gladiator, and I named Thunder, Lightning.
Hold on, I need a picture of Thunder and Lightning. Keep going.
Thunder and lightning.
Go again.
Thunder and Lightning, and
Thunder.
the abs were the clouds rolling in.
All right, give me Lightning.
Oh
Give me
my
Lightning.
gosh. Oh, you have the American Gladiator photos, the originals? Awesome.
Would you ever do, what's the new thing now? American
Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I think I'd actually destroy the show. I would destroy the show. I don't want to embarrass anybody, so.
Understood.
That's
Are you? You think you're tall enough to grab the stuff? You could grab the rings and then climb the wall. Look, I love you. I think you're great, super strong. But seriously, you could do the wall stuff.
Brogan Graham
What he's
actually
saying
is
right now
under,
is
he's under
he
the
thinks that he can't,
illusion that
I-
I'm 4 feet tall because he's a giant.
Okay, so but
If
you're saying
anyone hasn't seen Brogan Graham, he's
I can't even see the top of his head,
7
actually.
feet 10
you
inches
can run
tall.
the ramp and grab the top edge of that quarter pipe.
Brogan, is it true that you were Chewbacca in The Force Awakens?
Yes and no. It was me and another guy.
Yeah, but you did the stunt work.
All the stuff
Yeah.
getting thrown from the train. That was me. Down the stairs. That was me. I saw a different movie than most people, but
Definitely.
Chewbacca on a train.
There's going to be one now.
yeah. Chewbacca on the plane.
Let me ask you a question.
The plane.
I
So-
can't stand all these Chewbaccas on a plane.
Speaking of height, I came here about a month ago during
Yeah.
our lunch hour. I tried the stadium just
Because-
to see.
wait,
I wanted to do it in secret. I wanted to try.
That's what I
I got the low span, right? So the
Yeah.
question is this stadium in terms of step height one of the biggest in the country? Or are they all about this size? And then the bigger question for you two is, on your home planet, how big are the stadiums?
On my home planet, stadiums are about 3 times as big.
Okay.
So
it
no.
actually presents a challenge
Yeah,
for
so
you.
that's something for real.
That,
So
as
this
opposed to
is
these.
actually walk through the park for me
Yeah.
because I'm so awesome. So fit, super fit. I'm an ultra marathoner and an open water swimmer. No, so these are the tallest, the tallest steps.
I don't know, folks. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. It's impossible to tell.
Yeah, his straight face is just
He's
impeccable.
definitely an ultra runner.
So the steps are harder than anywhere else,
These
are. Because they're taller.
Yeah, they are,
Most of the stadiums have seats, and then they have sections in between the seats, and most of the people run those steps, which are regular size steps that you would have in your building or your office or whatever. The bleachers that we're running here are double, maybe 2.5 the size of
Right.
a regular step.
They're tall.
And they're pretty tall, and they're pretty long. So if
There's also-
you're power walking,
Yeah.
it's pretty intense. You have to push
It's-
off your
you
legs.
actually have to-
I say it's like 14,000 lunges. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's amazing.
And if you're running, you really have to drive with that knee up. So
There's also a rumor that the stairs are technically taller at the top than they are at the bottom.
they are.
The biggest thing I was freaked out about was actually coming back down because
Right.
you have to be so. It's a little bit like trail running. You have to be so focused on every step.
Yes.
Do you ever have anybody get injured?
Very, very rarely do people get injured going down.
Yeah.
If there are any scraped shins
It's going
or
up.
bloody knees, it's because you're
Yeah.
going up.
Yep.
Yeah, you missed a step, or you kind of
Right. During the 5:30 group in the winter, twice, I've seen someone slip just when
Yeah.
it's been.
Yeah.
a
How do you
little
deal
bit.
with ice?
Yeah,
in the winter?
who shovels?
That would be me. No. That's not true. The shovel crew.
Wow.
Hashtag shovel crew.
Which I just
show
want to
up.
say, sorry, I have to interrupt this conversation right now
Stop
because when Brogan and I used to lead, we decided one day we're gonna show up before the workout, the night before workout. We're gonna shovel up the steps, and the workout the next day is gonna just go as planned. We invited maybe like 2 more dudes, 3 more dudes,
Okay.
and we shoveled 2 or 3 sections tops.
Yeah.
Done.
And it took us a couple hours, and
Right.
it was fun, and we were telling jokes, and it was a cool experience. We ended up eating pizza afterwards, and it was fun. Overnight, as we were leaving, it started snowing, so the next day it was like we didn't anything. So we just gave up. We just decided, all right, so when it's snowing, we're just moving the workout across the street to the track.
Okay.
This girl, Emily Saul, so last winter was the most insane winter we had in
Yes.
Boston.
That's when we trained for the Boston Marathon, and
It
that
was awesome.
crazy.
Best ever.
Props to you dudes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She, every night before the Wednesday morning workout, every night she would organize the shovel crew, and they would come out and clean the sections and break down the ice and
Holy
put the
mackerel.
salt.
No salt.
Well,
No salt.
No salt. We respect the stadium
'Cause you don't wanna ruin
salt
those.
So
damages
respectful.
concrete.
Yep, yep.
So, ice chippers. I own more shovels and ice chippers than I ever thought I would.
Holy mackerel.
And not just the stadium. So there were instances where on our Friday morning workout at Summit Ave, there's a set of steps
Yep.
that we wanted to use
Yep.
as a spice. And she also shoveled those steps and chipped the ice on those so people can run them and not get injured. So props to Emily Saul.
So if there's
the
a
nicest thing
snowstorm
Boyan's
on
ever
like a
said to me.
Tuesday, does Harvard call you and like, hey, the stadium's we need the stadium cleared today. Can you guys come a day early?
Yeah, we're contracting out shovel work now around the city. It's a good
money
way.
maker.
It's a good
It's a
way
money
to make
maker.
some money
Yeah.
in this world of free fitness.
Okay, can I ask you to give the mic to
Oh my gosh.
BG and
No,
both
no, you
both
both-
of these
both,
guys?
both.
I have a question. Can you
Oh
tell
my
us
gosh.
what is World Takeover?
Don't interrupt me. World Takeover is, well, World Takeover started, it was just like trash talking, right? We were just like, I think November Project started with because we were just like trying to tell big stories about like, this is something, come join us, even
Right.
when it was just the 2 of us. I think we started saying World Takeover because we thought that as we watched the Boston tribe grow and grow and grow for $0 and built on simple ingredients of kindness and hard work, really hardcore workouts. I think we thought that was those components could be cross-cultural in any city in the States, in any country in the world. And we used to get laughed at. We'd say, World Takeover, we're going to take over the world. We're going to be in every city. And people would laugh their faces off. You
Right.
guys are delirious. And then we were in 7 cities, and people were like, oh, wait, what is the name of the group?
Right.
And then we were in 20, and now we're in 29. So in 4 countries, 2 of the tribes are in Europe, 27 of them are in North America. Like, we're aiming at being in more impactful places around the world, not necessarily following big markets or big important city names, but places where great leaders exist and they want to make change, positive change. And if we didn't have all these people rising and shining this morning in 29 towns, we wouldn't be so sure of ourselves. But I think we're kind of proving World Takeover correct. I think you're going to start to see more tribes popping up in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in Australia. Still waiting for some leadership in Antarctica, but I don't know. We'll see.
Antarctica?
South America would be amazing. We don't have any contacts there yet.
Can you confirm that it's an MIT laboratory where you're building and creating group leaders? Because they're pretty astonishing and unique individuals.
Yeah,
and I don't know how they do it.
There's an old classic film called Frankenstein, which is about, I think it's Emily Saul's great-grandfather.
You're a Frankenstein?
Ooh.
Had bolts in his neck.
Right.
She comes from the long lineage of Frankensteins.
If you're gonna have bolts in your neck,
Yeah.
just think about this. It's good to have them symmetrically placed on each side, right?
That's true.
Frankenstein could have had one front to back. Then he's getting his hoodie caught.
Right.
Well, he had lightning and thunder.
Right.
Right.
Up on the high. On the high
Bringing it
spot.
around.
Frankenstein loved a good
Positive,
hoodie.
negative.
You know?
Yeah.
What
After
about
one
the
house
Red,
rumors?
just so you don't shorten out the
Cuddle
circuit.
up on his
What
wooden
about-
couch and watch them in the Olympics.
How about the rumor that there's a November Project feature film in the works and/or animated project or Netflix limited series? Go.
It's not a rumor. It's all true, including the Netflix series. I don't know about that one. But yes, there's definitely a short film by our friends from Deucer, supported by our friends from the North Face. It's a project that will tell the story unlike any other story we've done in the past, which is the story of the movement told through the eyes of our members. Most of the films we've done in the past have been around the events or around the leaders. This one will be surrounding members, and they're all incredible, very powerful, very different stories, but it kind of is a cross section of the movement in general.
How can our listeners find that?
It's launching this fall. There will be some screenings. I think there will be some. The ideas are still kind of tossed around.
Late September.
Nothing is
started saying that.
Concrete yet, but we'll let you guys know as soon as we know more.
It'll be on the internet at some point, which is built into a lot of home computer systems and some of the smarter phones. Bojan just went in recently to get a new phone, and instead of upgrading, he went back to an iPhone.
Do you have a touch-tone phone?
A flip phone.
A flip
he
phone.
said, "Hey, can I trade in this 5 for a
Yeah.
flip phone?" They're like, "Sir, you're crazy. We're gonna have to ask you to leave."
That-
He's like, "I want a flip phone. I'm not leaving until I have a flip phone." And he sure enough, he got one. He got his way. He gets his way. That's the thing with
the
Serbians.
internet's a good idea, because right now we just broadcast the podcast with a tape recorder on my front steps, and
What?
people gather around and listen. So I think a bigger broadcast opportunity is in the works for
So
us.
the days of boombox over your head are gone.
I ran out of D batteries.
Man.
You know, they're
I guess that's more
expensive. We
sustainable.
don't have a big budget. Like
more
November
sustainable
Project,
way. All right.
Do you
funds
have-
are limited.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Do you have, all right, our audience is primarily midlife-ish, borderline midlife-ish.
That's a nice term.
Runners, but maybe not elites, maybe some sub-elites and some just trying to get out there and see what's what.
So our people.
I think so.
I think so.
The question is, what word of advice would you have for people? Because we do have listeners all around the country. I'm sure there's a November Project near them. What do you want to say to come on out? What entices them?
Get
Tell 'em, Bojan.
get out of your way. I think people get in their own head that they're like, oh, I'm not fit enough. I need to train in order to come to the workout. No. Get your ass over to the workout, and it will be
Actual height.
It will be hard the first time you show up, and then you're gonna come the next week and the next week and the next week, and you're gonna keep getting better. Nothing is easy when you try it the first time, so you just have to get at it and keep coming back and staying consistent.
I would like to add to that if they come to November Project or not, like do stuff.
Do stuff.
I think a lot of people want to meet new people and try new things, and they're like, that sounds cool to say.
Yeah.
So don't come to November Project, but get out of your house and talk to the mailman, or get to know the waitress's name or the bartender's name. Like I just feel like people that live in communities, cities especially, like, man, why aren't we talking to each other? Why aren't we as friendly as we
Everybody
like?
has their earbuds in.
Right. So put your phone down after you post something brilliant, and then keep it down for 30
Yeah.
minutes and see how many people you
Yeah.
can meet. Go for a jog, see how many people you can high five. It doesn't have to be about NP, but interacting with people and trying harder, right? That's mine.
It's incredibly hard to tweet while you're running stadiums.
I disagree with you. I strongly disagree.
It's a skill I don't
It's smart to
have.
have like a mouth guard while you're doing it, just because the dental bills have added up over the years.
Going down the stairs, especially going down the stairs.
Yeah.
The
you know.
small crimson stairs.
That's where I get hurt.
The small
Yeah.
crimsons. So guys, you're no longer group leaders. Obviously, you live on opposite sides of the country. What do your days consist of, and what's next for November Project?
Yeah,
after the movie?
you didn't ask us.
What do you do at
what do we
7:30
do
on Mondays,
after the
Wednesdays, and
workout is
Fridays?
over? Well, I go home, I eat breakfast, and I take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually
And-
sleep till the next workout.
Yeah,
Actually.
which is on Friday.
Boyan is a baby, so he changes diapers.
Mm-hmm.
I have
You have a wife.
Eats
I have a
Cheerios.
trophy wife, so I
Congratulations.
parade her around. Although recently she told me that's not funny.
Yeah, it's
Call her
probably
trophy.
not going to be funny here either.
No. No. So so I have a surfboard. I live in San Diego now.
Okay.
So we do that. Our actual jobs are fueled by the North Face. We have a great partnership with those guys. They years ago saw what we were doing, and we actually spent an entire year of 2014 in a really subtle limbo partnership with them, just to kind of see how both sides would play fair, play nice, and that is the main partnership that's fueling the movement. It's the reason we can get our leaders together once a year, which is a huge event.
That's big, yeah.
It takes
So they host the NP Summit?
and we do it. Yeah, we do it around one of their endurance challenge weekends, a trail race that happens in 6 different markets. So this year's up in Blue Mountain, Ontario, and planning an event like that takes a fair many months of the year. I think one of our bigger tasks also on a day-to-day, week-to-week, and seasonal basis is connecting these leaders. Sometimes you have a newer leader in a smaller tribe that just needs to talk shop, and how do you guys recruit? What are they doing there? And to be able to give them advice, sure. You know, Boyan and I do have a ton of learnings from what we've built here in Boston.
Sure.
And at the same time, it's a little bit more fun to say, you know what, that's a good call, John from Kansas City. They were dealing with that a month ago in Philadelphia. Why don't you go ahead and give Dan Leo a call? Because that actually is something that he's pretty psyched about right now. And to be in the control tower a little bit and not exactly follow our marching orders, but share best practices, I think it's probably one of my favorite parts of the job.
And keep in mind, we used to do this while having full-time jobs.
Right.
So,
When it was just your show.
Yeah, and it was our 9 to 5 that was paying bills, and then our 5 to 9 that was our passion. And our lives were suffering, our relationships were suffering.
Absolutely.
And,
This podcast is killing our lives.
But
it looks like
but
you
you're
guys
getting
are
more
wilting
awesome
away.
every time you pull one out.
It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
It jumps up.
It does.
And actually, pressure of our wives drove the decision to get our heads out of our butts and really do something about it, because my wife was like, all right, so you've been at it for 2.5 years, you're approaching 3 years, either this is going to be your hobby and you're going to kind of tone it down a little bit, or you're going to go all in and make it your career. And we're obviously super passionate about it, so we decided to take that step.
I also think that early on, Boyan and I were, and still are, really weary about number one, letting people help us, because this is our baby. November Project is something that we created, and we're super passionate about it. So, if the world only knew the number of offers and things that came to our door, from 2011, from the very first month to when we, signed some pretty important paperwork with the North Face, it came down to who really gets this, and it was, everyone wants to sprinkle hundreds of high-flying, high-energy folks with expendable income on whatever they're doing. Hey, we started this app. Hey, we have this new fruit drink. Hey, do you guys want to fly on JetBlue? Hey, and we fended off a lot of terrible to pretty okay offers along the way for years, and the world will never know about it. What was exciting?
We're the exact same way. Same. It's like hearing my own story. It's awesome.
It actually is like looking in a mirror.
It's unbelievable.
A funhouse mirror, because you guys are gigantic,
Right.
and we're kind of normal
through
size.
time. It's 20 years ago.
Tall and thin with like huge feet,
and
like
just
fat
extremely
heads.
happy with yourselves and who you are.
The folks at North Face, led by a woman named Katie Ramage, were able to get to Boston, and I think a lot of people like you guys, you got to go experience this before you can sit around and say, new run club's in town,
Right.
So you get here, you're part of the Sweaty Hugs, and then they wanted to talk about how we could play,
and you don't call it a run club anymore, because it's not.
It's not. It's something so much bigger than that.
Totally.
There we go.
But speaking of running,
It's not a run club.
But speaking of running, are either of you about to do any races in the near future? Are you running as a thing? Just
Yes.
to talk to our audience.
We'll both sign up for a bunch of stuff.
Yes. I'm signed up for shorter stuff than Brogan, but he is an ultra marathoner and open water swimmer. So,
Oh my God!
I got into ultras because that way you can hide in the woods and run super slow.
Yeah.
And you can totally go to the bathroom at your own pace.
And if you finish,
And bring sandwiches.
and no one knows what a good time is too. He's like, yeah, I did that 50K. It took me 17 hours. People are like, it's like,
What-
50 and 17. Those are
what was the
numbers.
elevation there?
Yeah, wait,
Yeah, what
that's
was
not
there was a
divisible.
lot of
Oh, you
feet
should see
up
the
and then-
elevation profile, and people are like, okay. And then you basically get out of conversations.
Right.
It's like telling people you're a paralegal.
And then
People are like,
glaze,
all right, let's move on.
glaze and walk away.
Right.
Yeah, oh, that's it. I heard something. Let's be done. Yeah, I do. I have a swimming race this weekend, which I'm not a swimmer. It's up in Casco Bay. It's 9 islands, and you're tethered to your teammate.
Are you gonna float, or what are you gonna? You gotta swim,
You
though.
have floating wetsuits.
You're using
Okay.
your teammate as a float.
I'm using him as a motor.
As a
He's gonna
motor,
pull
right.
me. Wow. It says 4 miles of swimming and about 12 miles of running.
Wow.
And then Boyan and I are doing the endurance challenge in Utah.
No,
No,
Wisconsin.
And I'll be at the one in Utah and the one in San Francisco.
Both in San Francisco, yes.
So is this all part of the deal? All part of the, yeah.
Absolutely.
Is this all part of the North Face
Yeah, so
deal? So other events, these events are part of what you're doing now?
So the races are the part of the North Face Endurance Challenge,
Yep.
and we have access to those races. Our tribes are also in those locations. So in Wisconsin, we have Milwaukee and Madison, and Chicago is also not too far away. Minneapolis is like 3 or 4 hours away. So the one in San Francisco, obviously there's a tribe there, and a bunch of Californian cities, they like to come as well. So it's a nice little way to get our members excited about a race, to put something on a calendar. And these races are some of the best trail races we've done, but there are also smaller local races that people are signing up for. So we encourage our members to set a goal, put it on a calendar, and train towards that goal.
How's the Millinocket, Maine tribe doing? Because I'm running a marathon there in December, and I could use some support.
Yeah, there's no leader and there's no tribe. But other than that, they're strong.
There will be.
They don't host workouts. They don't know about it.
There's a lot of potential there.
We're excited.
Yeah.
You can
There's
tell
a lot
we're
of
excited.
Are you
spray
jetting
painting
off
local.
to Millinocket right from this interview?
To set that up.
Yeah, actually, the North Face was originally aiming at one of their prime markets. It was New York City, LA, Chicago, and then Millinocket, Maine.
Yeah.
That might come around still. I mean, once you do it and we podcast about it,
That's true.
Right.
would you guys ever consider attempting the Barkley?
Oh,
No.
Okay.
No.
Good answer.
Thank you.
No.
That makes 4 of us.
I feel good now.
I couldn't imagine.
You've seen the documentary?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's
And no. And my wife, we saw it together, and she was like, "Would you do it?" I'm like, "Absolutely not."
No.
That's
the first thing my wife and kids are like, Dad, you should try that. I'm like, no, you don't
I
even
don't
know
think
what.
it's
Each lap is like 13
and
hours.
it's also not like, I don't even think it's like an ultra running.
It's not a race.
It's not
I mean, it's not a
running
run
thing.
race. Yeah, it's
like,
No, it's
if you're like,
survival.
I feel like a mountaineer or like a
it's a little Blair Witchy,
total Blair Witch.
you know,
Total
and it's a
Blair
little
Witch. Total Blair
mousetrappy,
Witch.
and it's a little like pull the page from the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
And
And the winner has to go in the basement and
It's a
like
little
stare
bit
at the
like-
wall
it's
while they
a
kill the other guy.
I'll
It's a
tell
little
you,
bit like
I'll tell you
Clue.
this.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't. My running resume is not as colorful as my friend BG's.
I'm an ultra guy. I don't know.
You're
if
an
you know.
ultra
and an
guy.
open water
swimmer
Open water
island
swimmer.
guy.
So my first and the only marathon that I ran was Boston Marathon in 2006.
Nice.
And then I took 10 years off because I crossed the finish line.
It was
and
a
I
taper.
said,
It was a taper.
F this sucks.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Say that after every run.
So I ran a bunch of 5Ks, 10Ks. I actually never ran a half on the clock.
Half is fun.
They're fun. I mean, I ran a half many times.
Today you could probably just
Exactly.
going home.
Right.
But never in a race.
Yeah.
And then this year I signed up for a trail marathon, and it was tons of fun. So it took me about 10 years to go from that first marathon when I said I'm never doing this again to kind of forget about it and run a marathon this year again.
If you had to go back, would you do
So-
26 on the road or 26 on trail?
Trail. I'm never going back on the road.
Yeah.
Talk more about the difference between road and trails real quick, because we have our listeners really are a mixed bag, as are we actually. I'm much more a road guy. He's much more a trail guy, although we both mix around. What is it about one over the other
And there's
for you?
different kinds of trails. There's like basically a dirt fire road, and
Yeah.
then there's single track, real technical stuff.
Right.
Which do you guys like?
And it also depends on what side of the country you're doing it. So East Coast is
Right.
way more rugged, technical routes,
Right.
rocks, riverbeds, and stuff like that. Whereas out West, you have more elevation, but it's more it's wider and not as technical. But elevation gets to you. I prefer trail. I would rather do trail than pounding the road. Just because it kind of brings me back to the days both Brogan and I used to row, and brings me back to those days of rowing, where all you're focused on is, especially in the winter training, that erg rowing machine, just staring at the screen and just looking at that pace, and that just bothers the crap out of me.
It's
I
awful.
I would rather
It's torture.
go out and have fun.
Right.
So it's the opposite of that, is what you're saying.
Exactly. So
Yes.
when you're on the trail, like you may be running 10-minute miles and you're winning the race.
Right.
You know,
But you're
so like
fully engaged with that trail.
exactly.
You're
Where-
seeing things.
What's your go-to trail in the Boston area when you're out and about?
Fells.
Fells for
Nice.
sure. Yeah.
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 I've done Blue Mountain, but I get lost, or Blue Hill, sorry.
Yep.
But I get lost there a
Okay.
lot. So Fells I know pretty well, so I like that.
Yeah, I don't know Blue Hills at all. I did a road race out there once, but yeah, but we both kind of transitioned to trail. I think it's a huge influence by the North Face. Seriously, like
Probably, yeah.
a lot of our new running heroes are like those thin folks that live at 10,000 feet and casually do 5,000-10,000 feet in a run.
And you think better up there.
Right.
The air's
Totally.
better.
And
Yeah.
so
I had an experience last November. I was out in Boulder, and I was running the base of the Andiron Mountains there by Chautauqua. And I told Peter afterwards, I felt great. Especially coming from the East Coast in November, you're out there, and it's unimaginably beautiful, and you feel like you're just rocking it. Then like 4 gazelles
Totally.
in just shorts and no shirts. It's 40 degrees out and snowing,
Right.
and they just come right past you like you're nothing.
right.
Like, where do they grow these people?
Totally. And the answer is like right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, Boulder, they just sprout up out of springs.
Yeah,
in the ground.
they have a factory of them.
So, real quick, I know you guys have to get going soon because I think we're actually starting to see the November Project get a little tired. I mean, we're going
no.
so
Is that
long
happening?
in this interview. I think I'm seeing their nap
They
time.
actually,
we're just
they,
getting
they,
warmed up.
they
I'm
actually just
seeing
need
it.
omelets.
When are we starting
That's
the
the
interview?
problem.
Are we starting the
No,
interview
we
now?
don't do the interview till about 10:30.
Okay, good.
So he's going to do.
when the actual technical crew gets here.
Right.
So Bryan
The
is
real
going to do
mics.
Millinocket in December. In November, theoretically, I'm running New York. The question is, I have been diagnosed with Achilles tendonitis in the left, post-tib tendonitis in the right. We were talking earlier, tendonitis, what a pain.
Yeah.
What do I do? Doctor says don't run 4 weeks.
You
Do
listen
other
to the
stuff.
doctor.
Yeah, do other stuff.
I spent like, from the ages of like 16 to 29 or 30 not listening to the doctor.
How'd that go?
And not well.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's fine. I mean, I wasn't always like, injured, but last year I was injured almost the entire year with like a knee thing and,
Yeah.
and an Achilles thing. And then like
All
another-
inflamed, all
totally.
painful, tight.
And
Yeah.
so, the classic stuff, right? When someone says, "Oh, how's that going?" You're like, "It's terrible. The knee's still bad." And they say, "Have you been icing it? Have you been resting it?
Are you elevating it?
Are you elevating it?" And you're like, "No,
No.
Then you're like, "Well, you're not trying. You don't care that bad. You just want to whine and not
Right.
run, apparently." So I say do the basic stuff. Man, it's crazy how much ice can help. And then I've also found that footwear is really important.
Yeah,
And
get
I've screwed
learning
around
all
with
that.
the wrong
learning all
shoes and
that.
the right shoes, and I'm injury free this year, and I'm racing more than I ever have, and
Nice.
I'm the oldest version of myself I've ever been. So,
Well, no matter what anyone else tells you, you guys look pretty good,
Thanks, man.
right? I mean,
Thank you.
we'll take that. We'll take that.
In the category of all the ultra marathoners and open water swimmers I've met,
I was going to say
You're right up
metahumans.
there.
All the
Up there, top 10?
metahumans that
Top
I
30?
know personally.
Top
you
three.
two.
Top 3, wow.
Yeah, you're
Wow.
definitely in the
So
top
wait,
3.
who's second and who's third?
Aquaman and Wonder Woman?
Yeah, Aquaman's actually really good on the trail. Dude loves
Yeah,
a
it's
good
weird.
50 miler.
It's weird. Except he keeps
And
trying
he's
to
holding
talk to
his
birds,
breath the
and they
whole
don't
He's
time.
hear
got
him.
that orange
That's
scaly
amazing.
shirt that he just won't give up on.
But you can see him, so no
Sir,
one shoots
you got to
him.
put on a bid.
Sure.
He won't do it.
He won't do it.
You will not mistake him for a deer.
guys, do you have either gear or app that you're in love with right now?
I do.
I do.
What's your app?
Not the app. I couldn't care less.
I use
about
Google
apps.
Maps.
Wait, is this going to be a November project? App that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, weather app, so I know
Yeah.
how many layers of clothing.
Nice. What's that? What do you like to use?
Just the weather.com.
App. The weather app.
Weather.com or weather channel.
Right.
The weather channel. I think so.
Yeah, okay.
And that's just to know how many layers.
Okay.
It's not, oh, should I go out or not? It's
Right.
Just how to prepare.
exactly.
Right. When do you make
Um,
the shorts to pants transition?
Right.
For as long as I can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as gear, I really like the North Face Better Than Naked jacket.
Oh, you took my answer.
It's super lightweight. It's just warm enough when it's really cold. Because I also run hot. I'm like, in the wintertime, I'm the dude that will be in short sleeves,
Yeah,
maybe
right.
gloves on,
Yep,
and
yep.
a hat sometimes. So like, it's just light enough to keep you warm, but it's also a great jacket just to kind of like tool around in, in that fall transitioning into winter. And it's super stowable. You can just kind of ball it up and throw it in your backpack. Or
Do you race in it?
no, I race in just shirts, maybe like a
Long sleeve shirt.
tighter fitting
Yeah.
long sleeve, like a tech tee or something like that. And that's only if it's like super cold outside. So probably just a regular tee with like those arm sleeves or something like that. But
Okay.
like I said, I run hot, so
Yeah, well, he did take my answer, and I actually have all 3 colors of that jacket. Better Than Naked. It's
Nice.
easy to remember. Better Than Naked. But I am doing some longer stuff, and I am on trail these days, and there's a pair of shorts that came out with tons of pockets that also have a built-in boxer brief in them, which I know is kind of like polarizing. Do people love that? Do they hate it? I love it.
I need it.
Yeah, there you go. Kind of like, organization down there.
Yeah.
And that's called the long haul trucker, or the long haul short.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably my favorite piece of gear right now is my new Avengers Thor ring.
Nice.
Which this is my 4th wedding band that I've had. I've only been married 2 years, and I lose them when I go swimming and surfing. And so this one was $10 from Newberry Comics. It's on the sale rack. You got to hustle now because they're going.
They're gone now.
fast.
They actually just let. That
They're
was
gone.
it. That was
So
it.
Avengers Thor ring. You'll just have to see the photo. That's it.
Okay.
Do you guys use music, or do you go soundless? How do you go?
I try to go soundless.
Yeah, no jams.
But then I do it once, and I feel like I'm having a out of body experience.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So maybe that's the way to do
Right,
it. So
right,
like you're training without songs, and then you go in for your long run, and you put songs, and you just drop a
And it's like
PR.
you're floating.
Yeah,
exactly.
I have this, like, I'm very fond of this one experience I had when I was running the Philadelphia Marathon. This is back in the day. I don't know if it's still this way, but it was kind of like one big loop for the halfers, and then they finish, and the full
had to go
marathons
again.
go out a different set of ears, a different loop. And I was at the my girlfriend passed off a tiny little iPod, and I had a playlist that was like super high energy, and that last 13 was like a party.
For the next half,
Yeah.
Right.
So first half is like, listen to your breathing, quiet footfall, whatever. And then the second 13, I was like,
self-talk.
totally. Second 13, I was like, this is going to be terrible no matter what, so we might as well have Busta Rhymes with me.
Sure.
You know? So, yeah.
Excellent.
Music's good, but I don't think, no apps, I don't know. Weather.
Weather app's
Jams.
good. That's the first time I've heard that. I like that.
Naked.
Instagram.
I've got one last question.
Last question. Here it is.
We do a thing called Strap on the Feed Bag, which is all about either the foods that you eat because you're working out, or that you feel you can have when you're working out, or that you love
a shame
post-working
food.
out.
It can be a shame food.
Right, things you earn.
Things you earn.
Maybe you don't. You secret away.
Do you guys have those? Do you strap on the feed bag?
Strap on your feed bag. Come and get it.
I can't really say I'm shameful of anything. I mean, I just like to eat whatever tastes
My
good.
beer intake could probably be trimmed.
Yeah, you do throw it down every now and then.
Is that a almost daily thing, or is it on the weekends?
It's nearly daily. But I think, like, when Boy and I have known each other for like 15 years. We met in college, and I think back in the day we wouldn't, because we were rowing, we wouldn't drink 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week, and then you go have like 10 nights worth in one night.
A few.
Right.
So now that I'm an adult, I have like a beer or two every day.
Yeah, but that's the secret
Or
killer
3.
right there. That's the problem.
Right. And there's a lot of cals.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water.
I might cut back on that.
Well, I
know,
call it
it's
a
not bad.
gateway drug in the sense that, oh my God, these 3 awesome IPAs I just had, and I can eat an entire pizza like a taco.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, fold it up.
Burritos, though.
Oh,
man.
right. Cut it out.
Bread.
All right, hold on.
No, I'm
breakfast,
actually
lunch,
on
and
the
dinner.
burrito diet. That is my diet.
But
How
you're
I
doing
lose
a
weight
day?
because I eat one burrito. I eat
But they're the
it's a
small-
cheese and beef. The Amy's burritos.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
how I actually do it. Is I
He's
eat
not going
a really
to
modest
Los
breakfast,
Amigos.
Right.
and then I eat
Honest.
those little burritos for
Honest.
lunch, and then whatever I want for dinner.
Where's your place to go to get
It's
a burrito?
working.
So I live in Alston, so there's Amelia's
Yes.
right
Nice.
Very
on
nice.
Brighton Street.
Yeah.
Right nav.
And no Bocas anymore.
No
San
Boca.
Diego, where do you get it?
I go to a place called Taco Stand.
It's amazing. Right?
It's actually the Taco Stand, or Taco Surf. And they do a really good California burrito, which has like avocado, potatoes, and then potatoes usually in the form of French fries, and then like added chicken. It's gnarly. It's awesome.
What does NP San Diego do on Wednesday?
So they meet in Balboa Park, which is like their icon. We call it like depending on where in the park you are. Like they have different names for some of the. You know, there's one they call this one section Honduras because it looks like the jungle. There's one section they call Barcelona because it's these really grand stages and things like that. But they're Balboa Park. They used to be the convention center downtown. They
Yep.
got thrown out of there and they made a bunch of noise. But at the same time, they found Balboa. I mean, you say it to anyone in San Diego County, Balboa Park, everyone goes, "Whoa, that's cool." It's a really iconic place.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Guys, thanks so much for
Yeah,
taking
thanks.
This has
time
been
out.
great. Thank you for
This
having
is really
us.
Thanks for
fun.
having us.
Do we get to keep these shirts? Or
You
we
get
just-
to keep
Yeah.
these shirts.
Guys, thank you. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
this
This
great.
is really fun.
Appreciate it.
Thanks
and
for
I
having
can
us,
go pull
friends.
the parking ticket off my car.
I'm sure it's been towed.
That's right.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you out there.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Peter, that was kind of huge.
Yeah, right. I feel inspired and good, and I think their words have helped heal all my tendinitises.
Have you become an ultra runner and open water swimmer?
Well, I already was one.
The-
But yeah. No, I think
That's a heck of a hashtag.
they were just great. Everyone was great. Emily, Chris, Brogan, Bojan, Caleb. It was a jam-packed show. I can't even handle it.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't expect anything less, though, for episode 40, right? We have to do this kind of
This
thing.
was a celebration episode, and I think we've delivered.
I hope so. Tell me, how's the store, Bryan?
It's coming. Hey, let's go right to the credits.
No, wait. It's going to be where now? Tell people.
No, I'm keeping it a secret.
No,
because the people are going to go there because we're actually prototyping right now. And if people go to it, they may be disappointed because they think they are getting a final product, and it's not a final product.
Okay, but you stand by your pledge of September 1?
Yeah.
Oh, God bless.
It's coming.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey.
This has been super awesome episode 40 of How Was Your Run Today with Peter Villa and Brian Gould. Music by Jeff Cronenberg. Anna Brooks is our social media guru. Andrea Bonnie Gould is our artist in residence.
Many, many, many November Project thanks to this week's guests: Caleb Daniloff, Emily Saul, Chris Capozzi, Brogan Graham, and Bojan Mandaric.
Listeners, please contribute to the show with your voice memos. For email and social media links, go to our website, howwasyourruntoday.com.
Listen to us each and every week wherever you collect podcasts. We happen to keep ours in an abandoned Dippin' Dots pushcart underneath the stadium stairs there at the Harvard Coliseum. But wherever you visit that special podcast place, please give us a rating and a comment. Every single one of those makes a difference in how this little here show is ranked.
And if you love HWYRT, please share our posts on social media. It's free and it's easier than building your biceps into lightning and thunder. Hey, Peter, enjoy your physical therapy this week.
Yeah, I'm going to do a lot of stretching and icing, and I'm going to think about how, these next couple weeks are going to go by while you're running and I'm not depressed at all.
Listeners, help him, please.
Send me good vibes.
Lollipop, lollipop.
I'm a giant man, I'm a giant man, I'm a giant man. Okay. I'm so big. I'm even gianter. I'm bigger than that last guy.